Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hello there, guys. It's Adam Martyn here, and I can't believe this is happening. First of all, sorry if I sound a bit nasal or gunged up. I've managed to come down with a certain virus for a second time, so not feeling my best, but I did want to talk about this because I saw this announced, and it just made me very angry. No, I'm joking, not that angry. But anyway, the news I'm sure you've all heard by now is this. Big Brother will return next year on ITV2 and online. Oh boy. Big Brother, one of the original UK reality TV shows, will return to screens in 2023, years after being axed by both Channel 4 and later Channel 5. The show, which launched careers of ITV presenter Alison Hammond and Radio 1 DJ Adele Roberts, will be revived by ITV2 and new streaming platform ITVX. Okay, so Big Brother, I guess for anyone who maybe wasn't around or isn't as familiar, it first launched here in the UK back in 2000 and was sort of like, I guess more of a social experiment, if you like, more than anything else. The premise was that a bunch of ordinary people from all parts of the UK would be shoved into this house, and every moment they were there, waking, sleeping, whatever, every moment they were there would be recorded so audiences could watch it. And like with anything, there was drama, there was tensions, there was things going on, and that was the basic premise. But at the time in 2000, there'd been nothing quite like it here in the UK, or nothing to that degree, and it exploded. I mean, I first heard about Big Brother probably when it was a sort of pseudo-mentioned in Doctor Who in 2005. And then by that time, a few years in, it was huge. Every series of the show was big advertising campaigns. I believe it did really well in the ratings, at least for Channel 4, its original home. And like all the tabloids, all the newspapers, I mean, when I used to go to school, there was like this corner shop we'd always go in, grab some sweets or whatever. And I always remember right at the front when you went in the door, they had like a newspaper rack. And all the tabloids, whenever Big Brother was on, that would be like the front page thing, some sort of headline, some sort of vitriol about a certain contestant. And, some people are really happy at this news, and that is completely valid. If you enjoyed Big Brother, more power to you. But to be honest, when they announced in 2018 that it was going, I was like, thank God. It's a bit too late in my opinion. Just before I get more into why I'm not too happy about this show coming back, just part of this article from the BBC says, the officials said that the famous house will return with a contemporary new look, and the returning programme will see a cast of carefully selected housemates from all walks of life live together under strict surveillance for up to 6 weeks. And the format will be the same in the sense that public members will regularly vote contestants off in evictions and deciding on the overall cash prize winner. Now, that phrase, carefully selected housemates from all walks of life, come on. Like, we've seen in Love Island and things like that when they get criticised for not including, like, a wide breadth of people from the UK. And then they're like, oh, no, but we have. And, like, maybe they have in one aspect. But then, how many people on Love Island are, I guess, what you'd consider, quote-unquote, very physically fit? I haven't watched Love Island, but, from what I've seen, all the blokes on there have six-packs or near enough. A little word from ITV2's reality TV chief, Paul Mortimer, says this refreshed contemporary new series of Big Brother will contain all the familiar format points that kept viewers engaged and entertained the first time round, but with a brand new look and some additional twists that speak to today's audience. We're beyond excited to bring this iconic series to ITV2 and ITVX, where it should especially engage with our younger viewers. Now, it is fair to say that in this day and age, in the 2020s, reality TV is still one of the most dominant forces in the UK TV landscape. I mean, ITV2, I think, has a penchant for hosting lots of reality TV shows. It's where Love Island is, and I believe a bunch of others as well. You could argue that the reality TV market is actually oversaturated, or at least its peak was maybe a few years ago, like 2018-19. So the decision to bring this back not only annoyed me, but it baffled me for a few reasons. First of all, again, for anyone who maybe wasn't old enough to remember or just wasn't around when this happened, Big Brother ended up in several, and I mean several, controversies back in the day. Some of them were blown way out of proportion by the tabloids. I mean, shock horror, that's nothing new. But some of them actually stretched quite far. No more so than with contestant Jade Goody. Now, Jade Goody sadly passed away in 2009 due to cancer. Now, was she a perfect human being? No, none of us are, arguably. But when she was on the show, again, she was someone from Bermondsey, I believe, in London, an average person from part of the UK. And the tabloids and the public went into her. There's all these headlines calling her a pig and just all this horrific stuff. You know, in the era today where we're all trying to, quote-unquote, be kind, this stuff was horrific. But in the early 2000s, would you believe, early to mid to late 2000s, this was considered the norm. You know, you could get away with this sort of stuff. And ultimately, there's a fantastic documentary about Jade Goody, which I think aired on Channel 4 in 2019. Annoyingly, it's not on all four, but if you can find it, I'd definitely recommend watching it. Just sort of detailing how she went into the house, all the sort of abuse she got, both from the public and from the tabloids, her own controversy. There was all the racism stuff she got into trouble for as well, and then obviously her eventual death. But I think that, if anything, was an indication of how we treat these people who go on reality TV and then become famous had to change. And, you know, with Love Island and various others, people are still suffering from that sort of stuff. I believe, you know, some from Love Island or who had been on Love Island sadly passed away. And I know that wasn't when they were on the show, it was sort of afterwards, but the aftercare for these contestants, it clearly needed to be bolstered up. And I really do hope that in 2022, that aftercare is truly at the quality it needs to be for those who go on these reality shows and, you know, get exposed to this sort of media pressure. Also into, you know, again, all the broadcasters, all parts of the media, we're all trying to be kind, as it were, especially after the death of Caroline Flack, which really struck a chord with a lot of people. You know, she was a well-known, well-liked broadcaster who sadly took her own life. But I remember that was when the be kind thing really started. So bringing back a show like Big Brother, which could be potentially a breeding ground for controversy, for abuse, is honestly, it's buff. I don't know why ITV2 did this. And I mean, also, you've got to remember, yes, Big Brother ran from 2000 to 2018, so I'd say for the second half of its life, social media was a thing, and, you know, people could voice their stuff online. But social media is even more prevalent now than it ever was. So that factor added into it, can that really be a beneficial thing? I'd argue not. I mean, why didn't Channel 4 and 5 go for this? Well, Channel 5 got it in 2011, and then they axed it in 2018 due to a rating slump, and there's actually a part in this BBC article here where the Channel 5 controller, Ben Froh, said he had no regrets over the decision and that the media landscape had become very crowded with reality shows. And I'd argue again that is still very much the case. So, I mean, yes, ITV2 has a lot of reality stuff. Maybe they thought, hey, Big Brother's been off the air for 4, I guess it'll be 5 years when it comes back. That's enough time for people to remember it fondly, with nostalgia. I guess sort of like what happened with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You know, that originally ended in 2014. After a 4-year rest, it came back for its 20th anniversary, and it's aired sporadically ever since because people remember the show, they enjoyed the format, the tension of it. So why not the same with Big Brother? Because, you know, even though I'm not a fan, I will hold my hands up and admit it does have a big, loyal fan base. And again, if you enjoy that, that's perfectly valid. You know, I'm not the controller of ITV2. I can't stop this coming back. So this is just me ranting online, as a lot of people do. But I guess, if anything, I'm just disappointed because I genuinely thought when we got rid of Big Brother in 2018, when Channel 5 said, you know what, we're done, I thought that was it. I didn't think reality TV would disappear entirely. It's, you know, it's grown to a position where it's far too strong for that totally. But I thought in terms of Big Brother, we were done. I didn't think we'd see this again. And yet, you know, here we are 4 years later and it's coming back. Ultimately, again, just to summarise, I think this is a big misstep. I really see this as taking a step back, not going forward. You can have reality TV. I'm not a fan, but you can, I mean, have it by all means. But if you're going to bring it back, why not really try and push the format, you know, make it something more than what it was? And I hope, you know, because it is going ahead, they do go back to that focus on ordinary people. There's actually a quote at the very end of the BBC article where a former winner, Anthony Hutton, says he wants the show to go back to basics. But then he also puts this, you know, he says, I would love a middle-aged Love Island where people aren't in shape and everyone's not got six-packs. And doesn't that just sum this whole thing up? So yeah, not too happy Big Brother's coming back, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited for Big Brother returning? You know, it's perfectly valid if you are. Are you sort of angry or disappointed as well that Big Brother's coming back? Do you think this is a step backwards rather than a step forwards? Let me know in those comments. Also, subscribe to this channel if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Samantha Pringle, Hux Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, the Welsh Lady, Bruce Danton, the Broken Kitsumanoid, and Cooking at Nans and DIY, our AMTV staff members.